Hello, welcome to Acadec Daily Music Theory number 1. First of all, what is music? When you think of music, you might think of sheet music like this, and let's just say that music is a little bit more general than that. Music can be any sound organized in time, and usually it's for either other people or for the creator's own purpose, or to be listened to or created by someone, just as in all art. And of course, that's not necessarily a restriction on what music is, it's just what typically it is. And it can be any sounds. For example, in last year's Acadec, they talked about musique concrète, which is not written out like this. It's not notated, but rather a bunch of sounds, usually recorded, that are stitched together manually to create music. And in Western music philosophy, we often talk about notes. And when we think of a note, we often think of the music theory, not theory necessarily, but the written notation on the staff of a note like this. And a note is a pitch, high or low, which is all about how fast air is vibrating and how long that note is sustained, that pitch is sustained for a period of time. It can be half a second, it can be less than that, it can be 2 minutes. A note can be at any pitch and for any period of time. So to write down notes, we often use staffs, more often called staves, a singular staff, plural staves. And when we have two staves like this, with what we call the treble clef on top and the bass clef on bottom, which will be very, very familiar to you if you play piano, this is called the grand staff, because it's like a normal staff with just one set of 5 lines, but it has 2. And it has 2 because the higher notes are going to be in the treble clef and the lower notes are going to be in the bass clef normally. And if you squint a little bit, you'll kind of see some letters pop out in these clefs. The little symbol out front with the big like swirly one here and the one that looks like a sad face down here. These are called the clefs. This one's called the treble clef and this one's called the bass clef. And if you squint a little bit, you'll kind of see letters come out of them. You can pause if you want a little bit more time to look at it. This one up here, the treble clef, looks like a G, and the bass clef down here looks like an F. Isn't that kind of weird? And the reason why they look like that is because originally they actually were these letters, just really fancily written with cursive and the fancy ink pens. And they used to actually be movable. And the reason why they had to be letter names is because we have these lines here, which are the letter which the clef is. So this is the G clef, and the little line that the little twirl is going around, that's the line that represents the note G, because each note represents a letter, or rather each letter represents a note. And then the F clef, the bass clef, the little 2 dots go around the line here, which is F. And that's why the G clef is a G and the F clef is an F. So this note here, therefore, is a G because it's on the G line, and this note here is an F because it's on the F line. Now to get the other notes, we need to know a little bit more about how the letters work. So the letters go from A through G, and then they repeat again, starting from A, going up to G. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. And as you go up the alphabet, restarting at A, of course, you get higher. And when you go down the alphabet, when you get to A, going back to G, you get lower. So this A here is lower than the B right above it. And this G here is lower than the A right above it. So let's say I want to go 1 note higher than this G here to the A. I will go up into this space on the staff here, because we can have notes both in the lines and in the spaces. So here we have 2 notes in the lines. If I go up 1 note, we add a G, and there's no H, remember, so we have to loop back around to A. In this space here, if I move it up, it'll be an A. And likewise, what if I move this F down 1 space? If I move it down, it'll go from F to the letter right before F, A, B, C, D, E, F. So it'll go to E. That'll look like this. So here's an A and here's an E in the spaces. And then here, try to figure out what these notes will be. Remember that this line here is a G and this line here is an F. 3, 2, 1. This here will be an F because we have the G line and then it's right below it. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. F is right before G, so this will be an F and it'll be a little bit lower than the G. And then in the reverse, we have the F line here for the F clef, the bass clef. So we go one above it into the space and we'll go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This will be a G note. So now it's your turn. Try to figure out where the low E will be on the treble clef staff. There will actually be 2 E's on the treble clef staff, and try to find the lower one. If you want extra credit, go for the higher one as well. And then on the bass clef, try to find where the low C is. And there will actually be only 1 C on the 5 lines, or within the 5 lines. But if you want another challenge, try to find where the C will be above the staff using what are called ledger lines, where we add in extra lines on top. So pause and try to figure out where those notes will be. 3, 2, 1. Here is the low E right here. Go G, F, E down here. And the higher E will be up here. We'll start on the G, A, B, C, D, E. So it'll be in this space right here, the 4th space. We always count from the bottom up. And then the C here is in the 2nd space on the bass clef. And the way you can get the higher C is to start on the F, go G, and then loop back around to A, and then B will be right above this line, and then C will be on the first ledger line, and we'll talk about those in the next video. Okay, thank you for listening to me and learning a little bit about notes on the staff.